there going to be any charm on them or something that will make them slip off? I mean, I really don't understand. But I know that Arsenal has the right quality to upset Europe and to beat PSG, and to really make to make the job for PSG more difficult. Arsenal just won the Premier League on the heels of winning the Premier League. You want to meet a side this motivated, this side that is concerned with history. Yeah, you could say that both teams want to make history. They want to win two UCL, in successive years. Very, very good. They are capable of doing that. They have the right quality to do that. But I'm sure that Arsenal has got enough quality to nullify whatever danger they pose to Arsenal.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
considering the fact that the Arsenal defender Uren Timber is back fully fit, I see that battle with Kika Varaskelia, something that will be very interesting, and it won't be just easy for him.
Okay. Well, if you think about motivation, I think PSG is also very motivated. When the people are considering the draws and all of that, I don't think many people saw this happening, that PSG is going to get back into the final. And again, you see that they were the defending champion. They also won the League One. Is that what it's called? And so if you talk about motivation, I think they are also well motivated. And the cruelty of football is not going to say, hey, you won it last year, let's have it this year. So talking about that, uh, um, Hussein has told us how likely PSG is going to play. Like the first 15 minutes, they are going to try to score. So, what do you also think, Hussein? Now, what do you also think Arsenal should do in terms of tactics? Arsenal is known for corner kicks, set pieces, and all of that. They have also been victim of the same thing. And then many people imitated them, and then it got so terrible. The West Ham case is still there, and all of that. So, how do you think Arsenal should or are likely going to approach this game in order to avoid any form of casualty apart from defending for the first 15 minutes? You talked about PSG. Now talking about Arsenal, how do you think they should approach or
I
or
think,
they will?
if yeah, if I want to talk about what makes Arsenal one of the special teams, and perhaps that's how they kicked my team out in the last UCL, was through static balls. So we have seen how Declan Rice, for example, last year scored two free kicks. I think Arsenal and Arteta have this mindset of they could actually score goals from static balls, which includes corners. So I think the path of winning this final for Arsenal is gonna be through static balls, whether it's a free kick or a corner, and and they're gonna do counter attacks. So in the first 15 minutes, for example, if you assume PSG is gonna try to score, okay, uh, Arsenal was not just gonna depend on defense, but it's also gonna try to do counter attacks. And one way for Arsenal to be able to meet, on the attacking side, comparing Arsenal and PSG, we can definitely say that PSG is way better. But the PSG attacking trio depends on the midfield. So if Declan Rice, for some reason, decided to be the hero of the match and was able
Mm-hmm.
to compensate against the brilliancy of the midfield of PSG, which is Vitinha, Joao Neves, and Fabian Ruiz. If Declan Rice was able to compensate, and then by this way, what I mean by compensate, try to reduce the amount of balls that goes from the midfield of PSG to the attacking trio of PSG, then I think Arsenal has a bigger chance of winning. But yet, I don't think Declan Rice on his own could do it. So and I think for some reason with the heavy attack PSG is gonna have in the first 15 minutes on Arsenal, they might score. And then for this reason, Arsenal is going to try to score back, and this gives the PSG an advantage to score another goal. So now, on the way I see it, and I want to comment on what Martin said, I think the 5-0 goal is completely insane. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if PSG is going to win this game, it's going to be it's either going to be through penalties, so 1-1 penalties, or it's going to be with a difference of a goal. I don't see like a huge score difference between in the game, especially that Arsenal is really good in defense, and I doubt, and they have David Raya, one of, if not the best currently, goalkeeper in the world. Well, I'll debate that because I love Courtois, Real Madrid, but I think David Raya is one of the best, goalkeepers. So I think it's gonna be a tough game, but I'm still rooting for PSG to score in the first 15 minutes.
PSG to score in the first 15 minutes. Well, we'll see how that pans out. But if we talk about individual players, Martins, individual players, what is the plan? Which players do you think can change the game for you? Declan Rice. Everybody has been shouting his name. Too many stars, with PSG. Is it Kvaratskhelia you want to talk about? Is it, too star studded, even from the defense? Yes, they may not be too defense conscious, but they also have players, that you can just not write off. So, which player do you think will change the game for you, Martins?
Well, I have a number of game changers in my team. People seem not to recognize that, but Arsenal fans know who the bad guys are in the team. That we have a big game player in Bukayo Saka. You think of him, and remember last year when Arsenal was actually imperiled by injuries, and you notice that we had about 3-4 shots on target. I mean, we hit the woodwork up to 3 times in that game. So Arsenal would have beaten PSG in the semi-finals. If you return to the game, you realize that people who are saying that PSG will beat Arsenal do not know what they are saying. There was no Gabriel in that match. He was injured. They have forgotten. They have forgotten that Havertz or thereabout was injured, and we do not have the firepower. It was Kiwior who was playing with Saliba
Okay.
around this time. But you talk about press resistant players like Odegaard. So you think that, I'd like a situation where Arsenal would play their usual 4-3-3, where they would play Declan Rice as the double pivot of Declan Rice, Miles Lewis Kelly, and then the press resistant Odegaard in midfield.
Okay.
And so you have the back line of Calafiori, you have Saliba and Gabriel and Uren Timber, to nullify the much touted attack of PSG. And then, of course, you have in goal the very brilliant Raya. I do not see PSG beating Arsenal in any shape.
Okay.
And then when that is done, basically, you can bring on the runner and the runner and the very fast player in Martinelli to do some havoc down the left. When for instance Trossard is taken out in the second half. So you realize we need a lot of energy because they run a lot. They run every minute.
Yeah.
And hopefully, thankfully, Uren Timber is back, is a runner, and Calafiori is. But I fear in some way that Calafiori might not. Calafiori is attack minded, right? So he's possibly going to push back the who is on that flank? Is it Mende? I think Mende or Hakim. No, Mende. So Mendes, not Hakim. Hakim will be. It's Hakim up against. Oh, is he Saka up against Hakim?
No,
And
Saka is against Mendes.
oh,
Yeah.
right. So it's not even going to be. I very much know that tomorrow Declan Rice will be playing as a six.
Okay.
Why we can have the two guys, Miles Kelly, both of them can switch positions, and the boy is very confident. You could say he has ball carrying capacity and can actually nullify this other guy, Ruiz, or what's the name of this
Fabian.
other guy that flanks Vitinha. So I think that Rice can nullify Vitinha. Vitinha, the thing is to stop Vitinha from playing. Stop him and then stop PSG. Basically, that is it.
Yeah.
And so
Uh,
you do that with press resistant strategy. It's just press resistance that can actually do it. So I
anyway,
believe.
fans can do it the best. The fans they are the best player. But you know that players do have their bad days. If I'm gonna bring some comments from our YouTube live, some live comments on YouTube, and if you are just joining or you are watching live, feel free to drop your comment. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please make sure you hit the button there, and we'll be pleased to even bring you here one of these days. So now, you saying now, strategy wise, you've talked about all of that strategy wise, you're saying, but what do you think would be the greatest undoing of PSG? The last time, the game that everybody was talking about, that game against Bayern, it was
Yeah.
very high intensive game. You know, should they play that kind of game against Arsenal? If they do, what will happen? Can Arsenal meet up with such energy? You know, or will the Arsenal kind of game will dictate how they will play? I just want your perspective on that. Hussein.
Yeah, I think if you want to compare Bayern to plays so much like PSG. So I doubt PSG. I doubt Enrique. The manager is gonna play the same way he played against Bayern Munich when he's gonna play against Arsenal. It also all depends on Arsenal. Is Arsenal gonna immediately? If we're gonna see the Z score of both teams, we always see that in terms of possession, PSG always leads. It leads way ahead of Arsenal in terms of possession. So if you want to compare, if you want to see, so the way Enrique is gonna play probably is, are Arsenal gonna for some reason play the same way they play, like the defensive, the safe side, just allow PSG to have the possession of the ball and attack, or if Arsenal decides, hey, you know what, I don't want to defend, I don't want to, I'm gonna try to be an attacking, I'm gonna try to attack more.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think Enrique is gonna give the ball to Arsenal, then wait for a mistake from Arsenal, and he got his two, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Dembele, Farsekhlia, Vitinha with proper passes, pop pop, he's gonna
Too
score.
many, too many,
Yeah. So
too
if,
many.
I want to talk about stars, man, PSG just, he Martin said something very important. If Declan Rice was able to, hold Vitinha, Joao Neves, but mainly Vitinha, then I think the Arsenal will own the game. But can he do it? Vitinha is one of the greatest, midfielders these
Yeah,
days.
he
Declan is
has
also
9 lives. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
his
and
energy is
Vitinha,
too much.
Vitinha.
Yeah.
Man, if you want to read the heat map of Vitinha, you don't just
Mm-hmm.
see him in the mid. You see him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You see him
Mm-hmm.
scoring goals. You see him at the
Yes,
back.
Yeah,
attendance.
sometimes you think he's a defender, you think he's an attacker, you
Exactly.
think he's a midfielder. The only thing he
You
has
can't
not done
predict
is to
how
be
he
a
moves.
goalkeeper. Yeah.
Exactly. You can predict how he moves. And based on that, I think, holding Vitinha is going to be tough. And if you can't
Yes.
hold Vitinha, then you can't hold the attack of PSG. And if you
Yeah,
can't
and
hold,
if you hold him too much, you're gonna leave other people
you're
open.
gonna
If you
you're
hold
gonna
him
be
too much, Kravachella is gonna be open. Dembele, if he plays, is gonna be even Dwayne that has not been scoring in recent time, it's gonna be open. So it
yeah.
is a difficult thing,
And one
and
thing about PSG is that every one of those players, whether it's Vitinha, whether it's Dembele, whether Farsakhilya, they all have personal goals. They all want to be in the, in the goal. They all want the golden ball. Dembele has the personal of, what, I'm going to the World Cup. You have Mbappe. I want to show Mbappe that I'm the real man here. So I'm gonna try to play hard. Farsakhilya wants to be in the race of the golden ball too. Vitinha wants to be there. Nuno
mhm.
Mendes is considered one of the best left backs, and they all have personal interest in winning the game. So on paper, I think PSG has has more chances of winning. But as you always mention, soccer, football is cruel, and you never know what happens.
Yeah, and that cruelty is what I'm just concerned about. As far as tomorrow is concerned, we are going to have a live watch along for the match tomorrow. Then we're going to have some of these guys online to also talk as the match is ongoing. So you are not going to feel bored as you're watching your game. We're not going to show the match. We're just going to talk along as the match goes on, and then you're going to see us in house as we also watch the match. So but if you're out there, before I get back to Martins, I really want to infuriate Martins by showing him some of the comments from uh YouTube. So this is one from life of Bass Smith, and this is what he's saying. You see PSG after 90 minutes beating Arsenal like a baby that they are. This is one of would you call the haters, right? And even talked about rice. He said rice will be cooked, and then and again, your friend is also online this time around, and he's also supporting. Unfortunately, he's also supporting PSG. Joel is there, and he said PSG all the way. So all the commenters online, they are not just for you. So
I think that's hate on Martins, not on Arsenal. That's hate on.
Okay, basically rice will be cooked, but rice cooked Madrid home and away last season.
well, well, well,
Let's see.
Well, Madrid last season. I'm a Madrid fan. I'm a Man U and Madrid fan. I would say maybe my own bias. I would say Madrid last season is just a shadow of itself. So many problems. How can you sack an Alonso and you brought in an Abelua? So I'm not going to talk about Madrid today, but the Madrid you beat last season is not the proper
It
Madrid
was a
that we
bad.
know.
It was
How
a
do you
second.
mean not the proper Madrid? Okay, maybe now, excuse me. When Arsenal beat PSG, people will say PSG were off, and that's why Arsenal beats them. That's the story I'm gonna hear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's self-defeatist. It is a defeatist excuse. It's a very funny excuse. I know that when Arsenal beat PSG, the next narrative will be that, oh, PSG were flat-footed yesterday. They weren't the PSG that
No, no,
showed up
I,
Well,
in
I
well,
don't think
games.
well,
That's what,
so.
and then
but
it's
you.
easy. It's easy. It would be easy to mask the performance of Arsenal. It would be easy to mask the brilliance of Arsenal, because at
But
least Arsenal it's not like PSG didn't play. It's not like they opened their net to Arsenal to, juggle the ball into the net or thereabout. But I'm sure I'm going to hear some very
no, no,
funny excuses
Martins, I
after
disagree with that.
tomorrow.
I don't think PSG is. You can't compare PSG to Real Madrid. Real Madrid had a lot of problems. PSG has no problem. So if PSG lose the match tomorrow, I'm gonna say congratulations to Arsenal. They played really good because PSG has no
Okay,
problem.
and I hope it won't be like, oh, they were off this day.
No,
Arsenal
I
beat
don't think they're
PSG
up.
because they were
I don't think.
off.
I
They
I
were
don't
bad.
think.
I don't want to
You
hear
know.
that. Basically,
Yeah,
that is
no,
one thing
I
I don't
don't
want
think
to hear.
that's true. I don't think that's true. In fact, if you
Okay,
want to think
that
in
is it.
terms of, if you want to think in terms of both teams, I think PSG is a little bit more relaxed than Arsenal for this game. Even though
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal just
No,
won
I
the,
don't think so. But
I
Arsenal
think
is
so. Let me
relaxed
give you,
as
no, let me
well.
give you why. Let me give you why. Because in the Premier League, Arsenal was suffering too. Guardiola and Manchester City were in the tail of Arteta's Arsenal. So they were like, it was so close. Arsenal was so close about to lose the Premier League, whereas PSG, they own the league anyways. Whether no one is following them, the league they're gonna win it anyways. So they're not stressed in terms of the league. They are just like concentrating on the Champions League, and that's why you see PSG reaching the final twice in a row, because for them the league they have technically is not as tough as the Premier League.
Oh,
So speaking of that, I think Arsenal is more stressed, even though they just won the Premier League, but they're stressed also to win the Champions League after I don't know 20
I,
years,
I,
22.
I, 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 yes, very. It's obvious that fatigue will play its toll on Arsenal. You could say that fatigue will, but I do not see fatigue playing any role this time. The truth is, Arsenal is energized by winning the Premier League, and they are in a dangerous mood. That dangerous mood of winning the Premier League, people haven't recognized that. Maybe tomorrow you will see the energy, you will see the way they play PSG. What I see is it. I was a little worried when I saw the sort of colorful celebrations, that greeted the first EPL in 22 years for Arsenal, and the fact that they went clubbing. I wasn't satisfied as a fan. However, there is something about the gaffer Ateta that is almost mysterious, very unpredictable, so focused a manager that you can hardly uh, find him sleeping at every point. Of course, he does make tactical errors by being very daring sometimes,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know. But I do not see that kind of sloppiness coming up tomorrow, because there's a chance to create a history that is better than Arsenal's previous history of the invincible. These
Mm-hmm.
guys they are aware of this, and being aware of this is dangerous for PSG. The danger that PSG is in is that Arsenal never won the UCL. If they had actually won the UCL at least once, maybe the motivation would be less. So I see a team revved up by winning the EPL, and they want to create their own narrative, their own history.
Mm.
You can find out that around the club they're already thinking of themselves as the unforgettable, just like the legend Iron Wright mentioned, and of course Thierry Henry, who made would already make them the best team in Arsenal's history, and they would
Okay.
have even outclassed the Invincibles, and of course
Okay.
becoming the Unforgettables. I think that this would play some kind of uh, it will play a role in the motivation of those boys. That's what I feel.
Yeah. But my worry, even in that, is that for looking at the boys and all of that, don't you think it can also be a kind of pressure for their for their age, their exposure, because PSG has experienced this before,
Yeah.
and they held themselves, and then they really gave an account of themselves. But Arsenal, it's a difficult thing. Even if you look at their games in the Premiership, they really struggle against some games that are overhyped. Their game against West Ham, they almost lost that game. There are many games we can point to when the hype is so much. The psychological aspect of the game is important. Do you think this Arsenal? Now, I'm directing the question to you, Osef now. Do you think this Arsenal boys can put themselves together and weather the storm, considering the psychological aspect of the game for them tomorrow? Audit. I think your audio is out. Go ahead, please. Go
Hello?
ahead now. Yep.
Yeah. So this is football. Sometimes, as you mentioned and as Martin was mentioned, this extra motivation and energy might not be very positive. In fact, it might be negative, especially the fact that they want to win this for the first time, and for some reason they might get a little bit stressed, and for some reason have mistakes. But at the same time, I always said, and I think this is agreed by everyone, that Champions League finals usually are not just a team's game. It's usually you need a hero. Does
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal have a hero who can win this UCL? Because in all history of UCL, you always see that finals are usually won by one person. Like there's a hero who steps out of the team and say, you know what, I'm gonna score. I'm gonna be the game changer. Across all UCL finals. So this is comes. Are there among these boys in Arsenal a guy who can come out and say, you know what, I'm gonna be the hero and I'm gonna score, or I'm gonna win? Well, I was rooting for Bukayo Saka to be that person, but I still see that compared Bukayo Saka to Dembele or Kvaratskhelia, I think there's a big gap, especially that he just came back from injury. So I just want to give my final words because I think Arsenal is a great team. I think they're gonna have. I think it's gonna be a very challenging team. It's not gonna be an easy game. It's gonna be a tough game. I think we're gonna enjoy the game, but still, I think it's gonna be a PSG win and not with a huge gap in terms of goals. I
Mm-hmm.
wish Martin's gonna be happy tomorrow and Arsenal
Yeah.
win. But,
I,
you know,
I really also do wish them well tomorrow. I really, really want Arsenal to win. But if you look at some of the comments, I think we have some Arsenal fan rooting for themselves there. Somebody says it's a 50-50 game. So many comments to talk about, and then Joel said Madrid will be back. So there are a lot of perspective. But at the end of the day, I wish Arsenal the best. Honestly, I really do. I really do. I really wish Arsenal the best. But somehow around me, within me, I'm not comfortable. I'm not feeling
yeah.
ease, that Arsenal will make it. And that is the cruelty of football. But let's hope the cruelty
I
will
hope
not
we're
happen.
wrong. I
Yeah,
hope we are wrong.
yeah. I hope to be wrong too. Because
Obviously,
mm,
I'd say basically is that PSG is not a team you're gonna face, and then you already decide that it's a win, right? But the grave error that PSG will make is to underestimate Arsenal. If they do, they die. That's it's
mhm,
as simple as that. You underestimate us now, you are dead, basically,
mm,
because this team is capable of doing anything and everything. I recall that several pundits thought that Atletico Madrid would edge Arsenal in the semi-final. In fact, several teams. I recall that when Arsenal was going to play Bayern Munich, nobody gave us any chance. I mean, during the group stages, nobody gave us any chance. But of course, the same Sporting SP, that team from Portugal that beat
mhm,
PSG,
mhm,
Arsenal dispatched with them. So
mhm,
I mean, we think of these things as it just might. Okay, I cannot compare really the group, the sort of energy that teams play with during the group stage, but I can think of a beatable side like PSG. If Sporting did beat them, so why should Arsenal not be able to beat them? That's the question. And then you're thinking of an Arsenal side that's never lost a game. They've played 14, kept 9 clean sheets, and then they are squaring up against PSG. And you think it's just going to be a walkover for PSG because they have the best attack in Europe? I mean, please keep that kind of buncombe.
Okay. So there are a lot of messages today, and thank you for leaving those messages. Thank you for leaving those comments. Because we have to go very soon, I want to say thank you to both of you for coming at a very short notice, on a very short notice to this show today. Now, I want to also announce that tomorrow we have some prizes, so if you are watching, tell your guys, we have some prizes to give away to the right prediction. So you're going to be making the prediction live, and then you're going to be making it through the website. Our website I think is there on the screen, so you can make your prediction there, and then you stand a chance of being among the 10 lucky winners, and if we do have lucky the right prediction, we will still give the prices away, in a way. Just follow us, tag along, and then you might be among the lucky winners. So I don't know if Yusuf want to have a final thought on this before we call it a day,
Well, um, I think my final thoughts is good luck for Arsenal, good luck for PSG. As football watchers, all we care about is a nice game. Whoever
Mm-hmm.
wins was the best team, was the better
Mm-hmm.
team, and we want to
Mm-hmm.
have a nice game. And I want to see Martins happy tomorrow. So let's see how
Yeah.
we go.
Yes, Martins, I think you are going to join us live tomorrow, during the game, so that we can really push you on. Most of the people around me, they are Arsenal fan. It's only one person that is not an Arsenal fan.
If
So you
if
see,
if if you would
you
want me to suggest somebody to come online tomorrow with me, it's Tulu Lokbe, okay, my friend.
yeah. Okay,
He's in
I think he
Nigeria. I
made a
don't know if
comment.
he
I
will
think
agree to come online.
I think he made a
Yeah,
comment. I think he made a comment. Yeah. He said, and I want to spotlight his comment. Yeah. He said, we need to convert. PSG is not a team to lose chances with. Yeah. So,
exactly. That's
so,
it. Okay, okay. I think that's my parting shot. Really, I think
hmm
that the biggest fear I have is getting chances and not scoring. That will be disastrous. You cannot lose chances against PSG. PSG, for me, will be like City in some way. You lose chances against City, you are dead. They'll bury you. So I don't know how it's gonna be, but I know that all Arsenals will be channeled against them. Even set pieces, corner kicks, and all that. Even if I believe that they've got very strong, I think they've got height, so to say. They won't be conceding such set pieces easily. They won't concede corner kicks a lot,
hmm
but they have very strong wingers and right back and left back. In Mendes and then Hakim, Ashkraf Hakim. So these players will be very good. But of course, I see that these fullbacks will be pinned back if for instance, I don't know. I'm still thinking of the sort of formation that will be very good for us now. I was thinking that starting Martinelli would be very good because he could pin back the left back. I mean, Mendes, and then Bukayo Saka can deal with Hakim, in that, I mean, on the flanks. But the biggest problem would be the midfield, like I said earlier. Joel Neves and Vitinha, two of the best midfield pairing in the world, up against Arsenal. And then I wouldn't know some person. I was talking about the formation today, yesterday. Yeah, I mentioned somebody said Zubimendi would be better. As compared to Miles Lewis Kelly. But again, I feel that he is not so confident on the ball. Zubimendi is not so confident on the ball, probably because he's played more minutes than most players in the team. So I see that we need fresh energy and youthful energy of Miles Kelly. And of course, he's got to be really warned to play with his head rather than with his emotion, so he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't clatter into any team and unnecessarily put Arsenal in trouble. But I
Okay.
hope that Arsenal will
Okay,
beat
Martins.
PSG today.
Final words. What's your prediction? What's your prediction, Martins, for tomorrow's match?
Oh,
As per
I see Arsenal beating PSG 1-0
1-0.
or 2-1. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I see the match going 2-1 for PSG, with Arsenal's goal being from a corner.
okay.
Okay, but are you aware that Arsenal didn't score set piece goals a lot in the Champions League, but they did in the Premier League? Because teams sit back against them in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
In Europe, teams open up. So Arsenal is capable of playing all manner of football with anybody. If you're coming out, Arsenal will come out with you. But the beautiful thing is that they have a structure, very solid defensive structure. They know when
Mm-hmm.
to attack and when to defend. That is why I'm saying that PSG might not be able to contain. They can't nullify Arsenal's strength because Arsenal will not go on a gung ho attack. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gung ho attack and then gung ho defense. No, it's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. Arsenal will
All right.
Okay.
defend. Arsenal will as well attack.
Okay, so thank you very much. I had some glitches as we were talking, and I was just trying to sort that. Now I've been able to sort that. So tomorrow again, you see the poster I put up. So if you want to actually win something, uh, just follow the website. Our website again is being displayed in the ticker there. So just follow us, and then you're gonna you're following us is not why you're winning. Your prediction is why you're winning. So you don't have to bother. But remember to subscribe and then share this broadcast to as many as possible. And then don't forget to join us again during the watch along tomorrow. So again, I want to thank Hussein and Martins for really giving us the tacos that we more than we requested. It was really huge. So thank you, Hussein and Martins. I am grateful for your time today. So I will see you some other time, and I'm sure that
Yeah,
when we
thank
invite
you.
you, you'll be here, right? You say we're gonna
All
see
right.
you again, right?
Sure, sure. Of course,
Yeah,
of
thank
course.
you. So
You have
on
a good
that
one.
note, I want to say call it a day and say bye bye.
Right.